The sun has come out in Issaquah. It's a beautiful evening here at Issaquah High School, and we welcome everybody to today's broadcast. The matchup today, the Puget Sound Gunners take on the Vancouver Whitecaps under-23s, making the trip down from British Columbia. Good evening, everybody. I'm Nathan Murphy, and it's an honor to be back with you here at Issaquah High School. Unfortunately, Keith Neely unable to be with us tonight, but we are here, and we're going to bring you PDL Soccer on YouTube, and we're glad to be with everybody. A tough weekend again for the Gunners last week as they made the swing up into British Columbia. Another two-game road trip and another trip home without points, as a couple of tough losses at Vancouver and at Victoria. But the Gunners look to bring a win to the home fans here in Issaquah for the first time. They drew against Portland in the first match down at the road at Mount Si, and their only win of the year came at Seattle. So the Gunners looking to show a victory to the home fans for the first time here in the 2014 season. We'll take a look at the starting lineups. First, for the Vancouver Whitecaps under-23s, Nolan Worth, the goalkeeper. Many of these players have experience in the senior side, at least in the reserves for Vancouver Whitecaps, and Nolan is one of them. Colton O'Neill, Jordan Farani, Harry Locken, and Reynolds Stewart, the back four. Mehdi Balachi, Bryce Alderson, Cody Cook, and Brett Levis in the midfield. Marlo Ramirez and Nail Cousins, the forwards. For the Puget Sound Gunners, Keegan Rogers gets the start in goal once again, the stalwart for the Gunners throughout much of this season. The back four, Michael Dodds, Joshua Miller, Matt Aronimo, and Kevin Cook. Aronimo and Cook have been steady on the left side of the back four all season long. Josh Miller, a bit of a change. Michael Dodds also in there as well. Justice Dirksen in the midfield along with Zachary Hammond, the center defensive midfielder. Eric Urzua, Josemar Evangelista, and up front Brady Ballou and Quentin Beasley, who made his first appearance last week, as we pause now for the national anthem. As you heard, the Canadian national anthem played here at Issaquah for the first time this year. We're pleased to welcome the visitors from Canada down here, the Vancouver Whitecaps under-23s. A little bit different, the structure of the organization up there in Vancouver, as I mentioned. Several of these players have had experience on the senior, at least on the reserve side. And as we look down their roster, Nail Cousins, the man out of the Czech Republic, played at UBC. He has professional experience for Slavia Prague SK. And one more professional in the side, Arus Ramirez, played for CDS Vida. That's in the city of Atlantida in Honduras, which is his native country. Looking over at the starting lineup for the Puget Sound Gunners, a couple of changes. Justice Dirksen, who had been the stalwart at right back all season, he's going to make the move up into the midfield today. And he'll play alongside Zach Hammond, who's been stalwart at the center defensive midfield spot, the ball winner, as it were. Eric Urzua, again, playing up top of Hammond and Josemar Evangelista. We mentioned the newcomer Quentin Beasley, a University of Washington senior. He joined the club over the weekend, was his first appearance last weekend in Canada. And he will join the gentleman in blue today. The Gunners in the blue kits, the home blue kits with the white numbers, and the Whitecaps in their white kits with the blue trim, just like the MLS side wear. And we're just about set to go here at Issaquah. Chapalo Street, your referee today. Assistant referees Ray Moffat and Ryan Meeks. Philippe Dorr, your fourth official today. As we're just about set to get going, we'll remind everybody that Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer is brought to you by Swedish Issaquah and also by Proliant Surgeons and Proliant Sports Chiropractic, Proliant Sports Medicine, and by My Spine Sports Chiropractic. We thank all of them for their support. Welcome aboard, everybody. We're glad to have you with us. Special greeting to family and friends of the Gunners players watching around the country and around the world. I know we've had viewers from as far away as the United Kingdom this year, and we're glad to have all of you with us today as we're underway at Issaquah. Right away, a throw-in earned by the Gunners. This will be Dirksen. The Whitecaps and the Gunners played just last week. The last game for the Whitecaps, the Gunners had an intermediate decision there against the Victoria Highlanders. And the Gunners looking to get a bit of a different result today here at home. They got a bit of a thumping put on them last week. But home cooking can change a lot of things, and the Gunners certainly looked motivated and into this game in the warm-up, as Ballou will chase this one down along with the newcomer, Quentin Beasley. And now the ball played by Joshua Miller, the left back. Handled in the Whitecaps defense and sent ahead, searching ball looking for Cook. Cody Cook can't win it, and instead the Gunners will look to push ahead, but unfortunately offside. It's Justice Amundsen. They've got an 11 on the field who was not in the starting 11 listed for us. This could also be Quentin Beasley. We'll try and figure out who that is. The Whitecaps in possession. We're just underway here at Issaquah. Second minute of play here. Nolan Worth handles this one and sends it out looking. He's got a man on the top on the left, and that's Reynolds Stewart. But instead he surrenders a throw-in. It's been rainy a lot of this week in the Puget Sound area. And beautiful weather instead here this evening. Perfect weather, as it were. About 60, 65 degrees here in Issaquah at kickoff. The sun's out. And as good an evening you could get for soccer. It's not too warm, but the sun's out. No precipitation in the forecast tonight, as the Gunners will try and keep control back in their own penalty area, and Keegan Rogers will send this one high into the air. Dirksen against his counterpart, Colton O'Neill, and O'Neill wins that header, but winning the throw-in, nicely played by Matt Aronimo to win the throw-in for the Gunners. Josh Miller takes it. A little bit of a crunch there as Zach Hammond got Colton O'Neill riding up over top of him. He wins a free kick just shy of midfield. 2.5 minutes into this contest. Long searching ball onto the right side now. Can't find Cook, who is roving up from the right back. And instead, Vancouver will settle once again. Riding forward with it, this is O'Neill. Into the middle, nice overlapping run for Cook. But instead, Matt Aronimo will win the ball, and he will win a goal kick, I believe. Yes, indeed, says Chapalo Street. Well done by the longtime Gunners and Seawolves center back. In the early going here in Issaquah, just 3 minutes and change into this one. No score, of course. We're glad to have everybody along. Zach Hammond wins a header trying to get Brady Ballou going. But Vancouver takes this one and will try and turn it up. Nice pressure from Ballou, but instead it's played forward. And it'll end up all the way back with Keegan Rogers once again. Nice speed shown by Brady Ballou in the early going here. He's shown that off a few times this season. And you like to see that pressure from your top two, but at the same time, it's a long match and they can't be chasing all day long. It'll be interesting to see how Puget Sound react. Clearly Vancouver, a very strong team in possession, and it's going to challenge the defensive capabilities, not just of the back four, but of all 10 field players for the Gunners this afternoon. Or this evening, rather. I say afternoon. This is the longest night of the year, Midsummer's Eve, as you might say. The solstice tomorrow. For those of you around, make sure and check out the Fremont Festival, always a highlight here in the Seattle area. As an overlapping ball, this is Cook making a nice run, and he's onside on the goal line. Flicks it into the area, but it's headed clear by the other Cook, Kevin Cook for the Gunners. Cody Cook, his opposite number for the Vancouver Whitecaps. No relation as far as we know, but I suppose it's possible. We didn't ask either one of them that. As a little bit of a miscue from Nolan Worth, and it'll go out for a throw into the Gunners just inside the attacking half of the field. Justice Dirksen in his new midfield role. Gets it back and plays it into the center for Ballou. Nice job there to find somebody. And turning with it now is Dodds. He can't keep possession, but right there is another blue shirt to head it into the area. Ballou was offside and he knew it, and Nolan Worth will collect that one. 6th minute of play. Just underway here at Issaquah. We're glad everybody's with us. Hope you've been enjoying this season of Puget Sound Gunners FC soccer. Hope you've been enjoying the FIFA World Cup as well. An entertaining tournament to be sure so far, as offside is Cook. Cody Cook for the Whitecaps. We'll try and remember to use the first names for Cody and Kevin so as not to further confuse everybody. I believe that's the first time we've had the same last name on both clubs this year. Searching ball this year, looking for Amundsen. But tracked down by the Whitecaps defense, and turning with it is Ballou. Trying to switch the field. That's a nice idea, but it takes a deflection. A little bit of a collision there in the center of the pitch with Dodds. But instead it'll bounce into the Whitecaps penalty area, and Nolan Worth will collect this one calmly. Rolls it out for Harry Locken. We remember him from last year. Scored a critical goal against the then North Sound Seawolves to win that match at Edmonds District Stadium. As we've got an issue with the clock in the stadium here, the siren's going off, but we are still about 7 minutes into this one, and having lost our stadium clock, we're going to have to keep it ourselves here and let you know what's going on. As Aronimo plays it back to Keegan Rogers, and Keegan sends it high into the air and out. It'll stay in play. I thought that would go over the touchline, but instead a nice challenge there from Kevin Cook. Amundsen tries to chase this one down. Turning with it and sending it on to the outside. Now O'Neill has it. Colton O'Neill looks for his big target up front. He gets ahead on it. And trying to win the ball and eventually doing so is Brett Levis. Drops it back for O'Neill once again. A little bit of a charge there, but judged to be fair was Joshua Miller, and it'll be a goal kick. A little over 7 minutes into this one, no score here at Issaquah High School. No real threats from either club so far. Certainly a little bit more of the possession have belonged to the Whitecaps, but a little bit, I wouldn't call it a sleepy start, but very careful from both teams, looking for somewhere to go with it. As the ball bounces around in the midfield a little bit, lashed into the air there by Matthew Aronimo. Vancouver plays carefully back in their own end again, certainly content to do that. And they'll play back to Worth now, who will send it out onto the right side. The left side of the Vancouver attack. And now they'll switch the field once again. That's always a little dangerous, switching the field across one's own penalty area. But no blue shirts nearby to threaten, and no harm done as Colton O'Neill brings it across the midfield stripe. Drops it back. Levis switches the field. He's got a man there. Balajqua turns it over, taken away nicely by Hammond, and a man up top is Amundsen. Couldn't win the ball, but Ballou does. Heads it nicely to his own feet. He's got a little bit of a space. Finally closed down by Balajqua. And eventually he wins the ball, and he'll try and start the break for the men in white, but instead it's taken away once again, this time by Quentin Beasley. And another turnover. Not a lot of time and possession for either side, as dropping it back was Evangelista. Now it's Dirksen on the left. Gunners content to drop it back and probe once again. Now Dodds. Step over by Dirksen, and then getting shielded physically out of the way, Zach Hammond, but it falls back to his feet, and Ballou a chance to take a long shot, and instead it goes over the bar. Fans will take a chance to remind all of you that Twitter has an official feed for the Premier Development League, as well as other leagues of the USL, the W League, and others. Welcome to everybody on the broadcast. We encourage you to go follow them. That's at USL PDL on Twitter, and also to follow the Gunners. We're at Puget Sound FC. Ball played over the top, looking for O'Neill. The right back makes a nice work against Dirksen, his fellow number 2, but instead it'll be eventually played away by Aronimo. Not all the way gone, though, and it skips off of O'Neill's head, as trying to run onto it is the big forward Cook. Instead, he surrenders a throw-in just a yard or two up from the corner flag. Amundsen pops it back up into the air. Hammond sends it forward. And challenging for it there was Locken. Cross nicely blocked down as Cook tried to get it into the center. Now Cook has it back again. He's onside, gets a cross away, but Aronimo is there to head it clear. Good, careful defending from number 4 early on as this shot deflects over the top, and it will go over for a goal kick. No score here. We're about 12 minutes into this one at Issaquah High School. No real chances for either side early on here. A little bit of probing from both teams. The better the possession to the Whitecaps in the first 15 of this one, but the Gunners have had a couple of runs forward. Brady Ballou showing a little bit of speed. As this header is won by Hammond, but it doesn't go much of anywhere, and Vancouver will look to take the other way. On the ball is Stewart. He'll turn it back now. He's got a man running. This is Cook over the top. He tried to split the defense of the Gunners, and he only got a weak header out of that, and it'll be handled by Rogers, who has Dirksen moving up the left side. Dirksen stops, finds Evangelista. The Gunners will play back, maybe switch the field. They'll stay on the left. Looking to play it long maybe is Miller. And turning with it just a step too far for Amundsen up there, and it'll be a Vancouver throw-in instead. Vancouver switches it out onto their left side now. They had a little bit of space there for a moment. They weren't quick enough to exploit it. And Ballou doing a nice job, as we were saying earlier, pressuring from his forward spot. That ball skipped up into the air off of Cook. Looked like it may have clipped his arm. Not deliberate, says Chapalo Street, and eventually it's turned over to the Gunners anyway. And Justice Dirksen wins a free kick I think Colton O'Neill thought that Dirksen caused the contact himself, but a free kick is awarded by Chipolo Street. And it looks like it is going to be Joshua Miller who will stand up and take this. Wait for the whistle, says the referee. He'll set the wall. Four Gunners setting up on the far side of the penalty area. The cross comes in, and it skips almost a chance for Ballou. It fell just behind him, and he couldn't bring it in, and Vancouver will look to counter. Cook making a run, and he'll get on top of it. Nice cross in. It's a threatening ball, and it's headed back. Cleared off the line. No goal there. A beautiful play for Matthew Aronimo, and this one rings off the post. A clearance off the line and a crossbar in rapid succession. Just 16 minutes into this one, but no harm done thus far, though Vancouver still have it. Cook on the ball. Looking for the corner flag. Dirksen working against him there. Nothing but a throw-in surrendered. Matthew Aronimo takes the ball off the line to save a goal, and then Keegan Rogers gets a favor from the crossbar, and the clean sheet still stands here in the 17th minute. Now taking a firm shot was Locken, and it didn't go anywhere. Blocked down, and Vancouver will recover. Switching the field. Farani sends it over. Now he'll get it back again, looking for somewhere to go with it. Playing catch with Ramirez on the left side. And taken away now by Cook. He's got Amundsen running. Couldn't quite bring it to feet, but he's still got a chance. Steps out to his right. Ballou's in the middle there. He'll drop it back for Cook instead. Kevin Cook steps through. Blocked down very nicely by Bryce Alderson. I'm sorry, that's Ramirez. And now Ramirez takes it away. Former Honduran professional steps through the midfield. Steps around, or tries to step around there, and instead he'll get a foul, a blocking foul, you might say, against the midfield. I believe that was Urzua over there, and it'll be a free kick just inside the Gunners' half of the pitch. Free kick taken to switch the field, and O'Neill will bring it in, but he can't keep it in play, and he surrenders a throw-in to the Gunners. About the 18th minute, though, remember the stadium clock did go out on us, so we're not certain how exact that is. As always, the time is kept on the field by the referee. Chipolo Street, the man in the middle tonight. As we mentioned, Ray Moffat and Ryan Meeks, his assistants. Philippe Dorr, your fourth official. Threatening cross in, palmed down by Keegan Rogers to end that threat as he gathers it in. Rogers has played well the course of this season. He's faced a lot of shots, given up just over 2 goals a game, but his save percentage is one of the higher in the league. A steady man in the back for the Gunners all season long. Alderson with the ball for Vancouver. Ballou tries to take it away there. Is a little bit slow, was Locken to get on the ball, but he manages to get it back to his goalkeeper Worth. He's got it at feet just outside the penalty area. And sends a ball looking for Alderson that instead goes out for a Gunners throw-in. Puget Sound has had some initiative here in the last couple of minutes. They haven't registered a shot on goal, but since that threatening moment not too long ago where the ball rang off the crossbar and just before that was cleared off the line, Puget Sound have made some more attacking moves, as you might say, spent some time in the attacking half of the field anyway. But now Vancouver will claim it. Approaching the 20th minute here, late in the 19th. No score at Issaquah High School. Nathan Murphy with you. We're glad everybody's here. Thanks for being with us on a beautiful Friday afternoon in the Puget Sound. The sun just starting to set over the mountains is into the penalty area. Chasing that one down was Brett Levis, but he can't get there. Physically defended by Aronimo. But the ball will go out for a goal kick. Fans, remember Nike is a proud sponsor of the W League, the PDL, and all the other leagues of the United Soccer Leagues. Make sure and get all the latest Nike Soccer information. They're at Nike Soccer on Twitter, and we're grateful for their support of the Premier Development League. Throw in for the Gunners just about midfield, a little bit into the attacking half. chested across looking for Blue. He's listed as a forward on the sheet, but he's been playing a very spread out role, very active in the midfield, working back, trying to win the ball and hold it up. And Amundsen has been playing more as the forward. I think this run is offside, but regardless, it wasn't quite close enough to find Michael Dodds. 20 minutes gone by or thereabouts here at Issaquah. A couple of chances, about 5 minutes gone by for the Whitecaps. As we said, a clearance off the line by Matthew Aronimo, always a great moment for a defender to save a goal directly like that, and then immediately thereafter a shot hit the crossbar. So two balls found their way past Keegan Rogers. Aronimo got one, the crossbar got the other. We're still scoreless here at Issaquah, and we're glad everyone's with us to enjoy the weather from a distance. If you're in the area, come on out. Plenty of time, still 70 minutes or so left in the match, and it's just gorgeous down here. It's a perfect evening for a soccer game. Bring your kids, set out a little picnic on the grass, whatever you'd like to do, stepping through, but offside. Another scary moment for the Gunners, but a step too soon with his run was Brett Levis, and it would not have counted in any case. Ryan Meeks, the near side assistant referee, putting his flag up there, and it did appear that, I apologize, that was not Levis, as I said. Rather, that was Neil Cousins. Nail Cousins, I'm told. As a free kick belongs to Vancouver right about the halfway line. They take it quickly. Try to organize the attack on the right. O'Neill made a run. He's got it now. Drops it back in support. Locken tries to send it ahead, and chasing the ball, trying to get there is Balachagua. Turning it away were the Gunners, and now it's held up a little bit in the midfield. Jerkson will try and push it ahead. Dirksen has a man. Ballou works with it and couldn't quite keep possession. Well defended by Harry Locken. Ballou working hard to get back in defense now. We've mentioned this a couple of times. Brady Ballou really turning the pace over well tonight. Amundsen wins it back to Ballou in the center of the pitch, about 30 yards from goal. Ballou looking for some help, has to turn back towards his own goal line. And now Cook will turn with it. Space quickly closed down. Good work by Ramirez there. And the rest of the Whitecaps midfield doing very well not to allow a lot of space to the Gunners. And now Vancouver will look to turn it up the other way. Nice little turn on the ball by Cousins. And now Vancouver streaming forward a little bit. Aronimo once again in the way at the right time. He's been steady all season long, and he's been spectacular so far tonight. We mentioned the clearance off the line a couple of times, and a couple of plays just like that last one where he's just in the way, which I suppose is exactly what a defender is supposed to do. No score here at Issaquah, 23rd minute or so, about halfway through the first half. A shot trickles into the net, and Vancouver have the lead. It wasn't a particularly threatening play, but turning with the ball after he received it was Cook, who's been making his runs earlier up the right and now threatening down the middle. And Cook turned with the ball, and I think he confused Keegan Rogers with the pace. It just trickled past him as he was wrong-footed a little bit, couldn't get there. And Vancouver go in front in the 24th minute. Very unfortunate for the Puget Sound defense, as they'd been playing very good, very solid defense to this point. And then the ball just, the challenge was there, so it's not like he wasn't marked, but managing to turn and slot it into his far post was Cody Cook, and he's got the goal in the 21st minute. Aronimo takes it, plays back for Rogers, who will have to clear it. Knocked ahead by Dodds, and now a chance for Amundsen and Ballou. Dirksen tried to make a run, and it couldn't get to him. Played back for Worth. Hands it for Locken. Had a couple of runners. Instead, he'll cut it back. Vancouver very careful in possession. They've got the lead now and certainly content to hang on to the ball as they play it onto the left side now. Cook was running. He never received the ball. I think he may have been offside, but he never became involved with that play. And now Ramirez tries to cut it back, and Ramirez was over the goal line with the ball. Or rather, the ball was over the goal line with Ramirez. And so it will be a Gunners goal kick. Fans, remember, YouTube is the official video source of the Premier Development League this season. You can find highlights, full games, feature pieces, and much more on the league's page. That's USL PDL. And, of course, you can find the Puget Sound Gunners as well. We're Puget Sound Gunners FC on YouTube. Thanks for joining us there tonight. We're glad to have everybody with us. Nathan Murphy with you at Issaquah High School. 26th minute here at Issaquah. A goal in the 24th from Cook has put Vancouver on top. Puget Sound has played stalwart defense for most of the evening so far, but a little bit of a funny ball squirted through past Keegan Rogers and tucked itself in just inside the far post, the near post to us. And Vancouver have the lead once again. Stepping over the ball. This is Alderson. Nice touch in the middle, and they tried to get a runner up front. That was Brett Levis, but instead it's intercepted, and Puget Sound looks to break the other way. Ballou has Amundsen, and rather Dirksen does. Dirksen has it taken away now by Alderson. Advantage, says Chapalo Street. Pointing at a player. I'm not sure if he's going to come back to a caution there or if he just wants to continue. Cook had a chance to shoot. Ballou closed him down nicely, and now the shot is taken over the top by Brett Levis for a goal kick. Looks like no further discipline is coming from Chapalo Street, so I must have misinterpreted his gesture. You'll oftentimes see a referee when he plays advantage on a foul that he believes needs supplementary discipline, a yellow card or a red card. He'll point at the player, point at the foul to indicate that I saw that, I'm coming back for it. And that's how I interpreted the gesture in this case, but I don't believe that's how it was meant. And we continue here. 27th minute. 18 or so remaining in the first half. Lots of time left in this one. If you're in the Issaquah area, come on out to the high school. It's a beautiful evening out here. Entertaining soccer being played by these two teams. As a foul is given against Vancouver. It looks like it was committed by Cousins, who tried to go up and over the top. And it'll be a free kick for Puget Sound. Joshua Miller was the man on defense there, earning the free kick. And Urzua will take it long. Headed down by Vancouver and collected once again. Vancouver, a sticky defense, you might say. They've done very well when the ball comes into their area of gathering it up, gumming up the works for Puget Sound and coming out with possession themselves. It's going to be the test of the match for the Gunners if they can find a way to break through that and threaten the goal belonging to Nolan Worth. They really haven't done so to this point. I don't think even a shot on goal for the Gunners so far. Very good work, particularly in the midfield by the Vancouver Whitecaps. After the turnover, a couple of throw-ins for the Whitecaps. And they'll turn it back in their own half once again, switching the field. One thing I've noticed about this Vancouver team in the first 25 minutes or so of this match is a pass is nicely cut out by Justice Dirksen, who seems to have dropped back into his defensive role again, is that they switch the field very liberally. They do that even in places where there's not a whole lot more space on the other side or where it requires a long ball in the air. They're certainly not afraid to try things the other way and see what they can find. Slipping through is O'Neill. But it's headed cleanly away by Miller. And Vancouver will settle in the midfield once again. Only two men for Vancouver in their own half of the field. Alderson plays it across. Now it comes back for Balachagua. Once again, they'll cut it back. Stepping up through, showing a nice little bit of speed there was Balachagua. And instead, the foul will go against Vancouver, committed by Cousins, who had his arm wrapped around Urzua there and kind of pulled him down backwards. And another foul, this one against Cousins again. That's a couple in a row. That's an easy way to get on the referee's radar, is to commit multiple fouls in succession. Perhaps earn yourself a caution for unsporting behavior, or rather for persistent infringement, not for unsporting behavior, if you're not careful. And Worth will set it up again for Vancouver. Another change of field, and the Whitecaps will try the right this time. Stepping up with it is Locken. Harry Locken. Very effective against this club last year in Edmonds, including a goal. Alderson. Cleared away by Urzua, who took kind of a funny touch there and hurt his foot or something. He's hopping around a little bit. Overlap looking for Dirksen. He's got O'Neill. He's got some space. Dirksen tries to step around. Thought he got charged into by O'Neill. Fair charge, says the referee, and we play on. Long searching ball finds Cousins. Tries to hold it up and turn, but instead it'll be sent back nicely by Evangelista coming back to play that one. And Keegan Rogers will send it away. Amundsen and Hammond chasing that one, but it'll be nodded down to the keeper. Alert play by Ferrani. And Worth picks it up and tosses it out. O'Neill carefully into the midfield. Sliding through and taking it away nicely was Dodds. Turning it back into the defense. Eronimo plays it. And now Urzua. Nice little touches. Miller, Dirksen, Dodds, but offside is Amundsen. Just a step too quick. And that attack does not proceed. A nice build-up all the same for the Gunners. Some very nice touches in the midfield between Miller and Dodds and Dirksen, which led to that chance. Just a little bit beyond the second to last defender was Amundsen, but a very challenging, promising attack rather, just the same. Nice little turn from Eronimo, finds some space on the right, tries to send it into the middle. He's got a man there. It's Amundsen. Ballou making a run. Can't get through, blocked down by Harry Locken. That's a nice play, as Ballou was onside and might have been through on goal if that ball had gotten through the line. This time Ballou was not onside. He was a step or two clear. That was easy to see from up here. The Vancouver back four have done a very nice coordinated job of setting the line tonight, as you can see from a couple of offside flags in succession against Puget Sound, just as they start to get things going in the attacking third. But Vancouver has done very well with that, and it's helped. I called them sticky earlier, and those kinds of plays help. You prevent attacks from ever really developing when you keep those through balls from happening. Of course, the danger is if you miss one, or one guy misses an assignment, or even if the assistant referee disagrees with you about the timing, then you can have a guy in on goal from 35, 40 yards. Long ball looking for Cousins. Urzua thought it was offside. We'll never know because the ball didn't get through, and Cousins never got involved in the play. Switching the field again. Nice little touch. Dropping it back for Levis. Now it's Alderson. They'll send it out onto the right. Big looping cross that kind of could have been a shot, and it only goes a few yards above and outside the upper 90 of Keegan Rogers' goal, but it does go up and outside, and nothing more than a goal kick. 35th minute of play here in Issaquah. No score. We're glad all of you are with us. Welcome to the friends and family of the Gunners players who are watching around the world. And welcome to everybody else. Puget Sound Gunners Soccer. Glad to have fans of the club or fans of the Premier Development League or of United States soccer in general. These are the programs that help engender success as a cross comes back across the middle, and this one is no mistake by Marlo Ramirez. The former professional puts that one into the back of the net, and in the 35th minute, it's 2-0 Vancouver. It was a very nice run, as I was talking about the PDL made by Colton O'Neill. He made the corner getting around Joshua Miller and knocked the ball perfectly back right just above the 6-yard box. One man couldn't get to it, and Keegan Rogers committed to stopping what would have been that shot, but instead it floated all the way through to Ramirez, and the Honduran former professional made no mistake putting that into the back of the net for a 2-0 lead for Vancouver, as we said, in the 35th minute. The assist goes to O'Neill on what's a very nicely worked goal by Vancouver. They haven't had a lot of space to go directly through the Puget Sound defense, and they worked around it instead and found an unmarked man at the back post. Just a reminder to everybody that all of the times and minutes that we're telling you are unofficial. The stadium clock cut out for a little while, and they had to reset it. And as always, the time is officially kept on the field by the referee, but we have less of an idea of what it is than we usually do, as the ball's very nicely cut out by Dodds, and he'll start the break. Dirksen takes it. Has Miller ahead of him, has Hammond ahead of him. Gives it for Aronimo stepping up into the attack, and a foul one called against Alderson by referee Chipolo Street. And a free kick about 30 yards, 35 yards from goal may provide one of the more dangerous moments of the half for the Puget Sound Gunners. Wait for the whistle, says the referee. The Vancouver wall started out about 5 yards from the ball. They've backed up somewhat. Chipolo Street says back up more. 3 men in the wall for Vancouver. 5 blue shirts for the Gunners out on the right side of the penalty area, and another one, Hammond, lurking just behind the wall. Geronimo's free kick headed away cleanly by Locken. That's a nice piece of defending, as lurking behind it was Hammond. And now a chance to break. Ramirez, who just scored a moment ago, just a little bit too far for the running man Cousins. Ball looking over the top for Hammond, and he'll get there. And his attempted cross, he had Ballou running on the far side, but it's blocked down by O'Neill. Another nice, sticky play from the defense of the Vancouver Whitecaps. But Cook can't hang on to this one. Another interception by the Whitecaps. Miller's clearance taken and turned out onto the left side. Ramirez content to drop it back to his defense with a 2-goal lead. Stepping through and turning with it now was Ferrani. Now back for O'Neill, who created the last goal with his beautiful looping run back behind almost to the goal line and slotting it through, finding an unmarked man at the back post. Now Alderson. Now Cousins. Stewart tried to get it back to Cousins or Ramirez, and it's booted clear for a throw-in by Miller. We're in the 39th minute here at Issaquah High School, a 2-0 lead for the Whitecaps on goals 10 minutes apart by Cook and Ramirez. And now Hammond tries to start a break the other way. He's got a man, Dirksen, and gives it to him. Had the 1-2. Dirksen cuts it into the middle instead. Tried to get it to Amundsen. It was cut out. Trying to chase it down there is Aronimo, who's stepped up into the midfield now. Looks like Aronimo and Urzua have switched. And Aronimo is playing a central midfield role, and Urzua has stepped back into the defense. I noticed that a little bit ago that Matt Aronimo was up high on an attack. He was up to take the free kick too, but I didn't think that was that unusual. But as I look at the shape now of the defense, it looks like, well, we'll deal with this first, is clearing the ball heavily up into the stands up our direction is Eric Urzua. And that will go for a Vancouver throw-in. Justice Dirksen looks like he's dropped back again. The center backs at the moment appear to be Miller and Urzua, and then Cook out on the right. That's a little bit different than the lineup we were handed, and it's a little different than they were lining up at the start of the match, but that's how they're standing right now. Amundsen tries to send it out onto the right for Ballou, but it's cut out once again by Vancouver. Evangelista challenging for it there against Alderson, but can't win it, and Vancouver settles. 2-0 Whitecaps. 41st minute of this one. Right here at Issaquah High School. Justice Dirksen throws the ball back into play and gets it back from Aronimo. Drop back for Miller. The shape continues to change here for the Gunners as Dirksen, who I thought had slid back into the defense, now appears to be back up in the midfield. As turning with it was Amundsen, but he is adjudged to have been offside before. And a substitution now as into the match is going to come number 9. That's Quentin Beasley, who we thought was going to be a starter. And instead Amundsen was in the match. Beasley will enter now and make his first home appearance for the Gunners. He did appear over the weekend. Had a shot on goal. The University of Washington senior officially in the match now, and a free kick for the Whitecaps as we return to play. Vancouver careful and almost casual in their possession. The pressure that we noticed early on in the match from Puget Sound is still there, but it's not as persistent, as Beasley, the new man, will chase this one down a little bit. But Vancouver will play it ahead. Nobody really there to chase it one down. I think Cook turned his run around where they weren't expecting it to, but now it's sent into the middle for Cousins. Cousins with a little bit of a heavy touch, and instead of having it at feet, he sent it where it could be played away by Cook. And a throw into Vancouver in the attacking end. O'Neill looks for Cook. Now he gets him into the middle for Alderson. A little bit of a shove in the back by Evangelista, who also tumbles down. Both men on the deck right now. Hopefully both of them are all right. Looked like Evangelista came down a little awkwardly on his knee as he went tumbling over the top of the man he had just fouled in Alderson. Alderson is back up on his feet. Bryce Alderson. Hopefully both gentlemen will be all right as we enter the 44th minute of play here at Issaquah. The sun dipping down low now, just a couple of fingers above the mountaintops to our west. Beautiful views up here. Parasailers up on these ridges. It's very lovely views here in the Issaquah Valley. Free kick taken, and it's a threatening one, but Keegan Rogers had it all the way, and he handles. Not a lot of time left here in the first half. The clock in the stadium shows 90 seconds. We're not certain exactly how correct that is, as the clock was off for a little while, we mentioned, but we will tell you when the fourth official, if he shows numbers. He does have a numbers kit over there tonight. We were easily able to see the substitution, which is a nice change for us, but we're not certain if he'll show us the stoppage time as you would see in a high-level professional match. Certainly no large digital clocks as you've been seeing in the World Cup with the sponsors splashed across the top. O'Neill gives for Cook, nicely cut out by Aronimo. He's getting pulled along a little bit there by Cook, and the shot goes outside the bar, rattles off the football crossbar, and goes out of play for a goal kick. According to the stadium clock, about 30 seconds until first half stoppage time. We're keeping an eye on the fourth official, Philippe Dor. We'll let you know if he shows us anything. Until then, we'll continue to let you know what's going on. And the referee will keep time on the field as he always does. Now another chance for Vancouver. Blasted over the top. That was not what Levis wanted to do with that, as the ball goes high into the air and over the goal of Keegan Rogers. At least according to the clock here, we've had the 45, and we're into the stoppage time now of the first half. We'll take a chance to remind you as we go into halftime that should they begin playing music here in Issaquah High School Stadium, that we won't be able to stay with you because of the ASCAP and other rules regarding YouTube and music. They will cut our stream off if they recognize a song or other copyrighted work. So we'll be careful not to get cut off so that we can bring you the second half as we plan to do. But the free kick taken and headed away by Harry Locken, who's been very effective in the middle of that back four for Vancouver. Now Dirksen, that's a nice cross. Couldn't find somebody, chested ahead by Aronimo, but instead Vancouver has a chance to break. It's cut out there by Cook, who alertly stepped into it. And now Miller tries to head it for Hammond. Drops back for Dirksen. Miller with a long ball, but that's not going to find a blue shirt. Instead, it'll bounce easily to the feet of Nolan Worth. Kind of half-heartedly chased down by the recently arrived Quentin Beasley, but no incentive for the goalkeeper to pick that up until he was threatened. 1 minute of stoppage time, so we weren't off by all that much, as indicated by our fourth official. It's really nice when they have those numbering kits. Makes a big difference for us, as I think offside on that play was Beasley, and he knew it. Either that or he was just turning the wrong way and couldn't step to it. In any case, it's handled by the goalkeeper, and Worth will finally pick it up. Not much time remaining here in half number one. Vancouver leading by a score of 2-0 on the strength of goals in the 24th by Cook and the 35th by Ramirez. One last attack for Vancouver. Headed away by Urzua. Knocked down by Dodds, and now a chance to send it forward. Ballou is out there, but instead it goes into touch. Chapalo Street checks his watch. I would guess that as soon as the throw-in comes back into play, we'll have a whistle very shortly here. Worth back for his right back, Stewart, or his left back, rather. Alderson trying to chase that one down. Instead, it's sent forward by Urzua. Hammond caught a little bit of something on his foot. Now a ball over the top for Dirksen. Just as Dirksen has some space to cross here, and he does so. A little bit behind Zach Hammond, unfortunately, and Vancouver will turn back the other way again. And they won't get far. That's the halftime whistle at Issaquah High School. The score here, Vancouver Whitecaps 2, Puget Sound Gunners nothing. And we'll take the chance to talk a little bit about what happened here, and we'll see if they're going to turn on the music as they've done it at previous home games here. Nothing yet. So we may be able to stick around with you after all. An interesting first half here where there wasn't a whole lot of threat to the game from either side. We did have that one moment in maybe the 18th or 19th minute where a shot was cleared off the line by Matthew Aronimo and another one rang off the crossbar just seconds after. But that was the only threatening moment until a goal in the 24th minute. It was scored by Cook. And Cody Cook did not turn and get a heavy shot. He didn't have a long run. It wasn't a cross. He had possession with his back to goal right around the top of the 18, and he turned, and the shot found its way through. I think it wasn't where the placement was expected, perhaps, by Keegan Rogers, or Keegan slipped trying to spring across. I unfortunately wasn't really able to see exactly what happened. But in any case, Keegan couldn't get to it, and the ball trickled into the net for the first goal of the game. 11 minutes later, a beautiful run by O'Neill. The defender coming up the right side, working around the back of the defense, getting behind Joshua Miller, and sending a cross in. Keegan Rogers in the defense identified the man on the near post and closed on that. The man on the near post very wisely let the ball through, and it was played easily into the net by the Honduran, Marlon Rodriguez, to give Vancouver a 2-0 lead, and that's where we stand at the break. We'll take a break ourselves just a little bit here, and we'll be back with more halftime discussion. You're watching Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer on YouTube with the Premier Development League. Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer on YouTube with the Premier Development League is presented by Swedish of Issaquah, and also brought to you by Proliance Surgeons and Proliance Sports Medicine, and by My Spine Sports Chiropractic. Thank all of them for their support of Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer. We're glad to be with you on a sunny evening here in Issaquah. Nathan Murphy with you. We've played 45 minutes, and the Vancouver Whitecaps have a 2-0 lead over the hometown Gunners. Take a little bit of a different story here as we'll talk about a man who hasn't been in a Gunners uniform for the past 3 weeks. We were wondering why that was, and now we know. Ash Apollon has left the club for the best of reasons. Ash has signed a professional contract to play for Bangkok FC in the Thailand First Division. It's a huge moment for both the franchise and the league. That's exactly what the league is intended to do. Quotes in the story on the PDL website, Jimmy Ball saying that's why we're here. That's what we try and do, is get these guys not only the training and the game opportunities, but the chance to be seen by some of these clubs. Ash had a tryout in Belgium and ended up signing a contract in Thailand to play professionally, and that's exactly what this league is set up to do. So congratulations to Ash and to the rest of the Gunners franchise, to owner Mr. Silva, and to Jimmy and the rest of the crew. It's a testament to what they're doing here, and also, of course, to Ash's skill, that the gentleman from Boston will be playing professionally. I don't know exactly when he'll begin over there, but presumably from any time now. I'm not sure if the Thai League takes a World Cup break or not. But regardless, a huge moment for the Puget Sound Gunners franchise, and congratulations, Ash, if you happen to tune in on this one. We loved watching you here. We'll be trying to find highlights of you playing out there, and we hope to see you at even higher levels in the future. And the best of luck to you. Vancouver leads this one by a score of 2-0. A little bit of a different look for the Gunners FC through the half. They changed the formations around a little bit. We told you, according to the lineup card, and this is indeed how they lined up to begin the match, that there were a couple of changes. Justice Dirksen pushed into the midfield for one. But since that, some things have changed again. Eric Urzua has stepped back into the center back role, and stepping up into the midfield was Matthew Aronimo, who was playing wonderful defense, including that clearance off the line about 20 minutes into the match. He's playing in the midfield now, and you've got to credit him. You can call it motor or whatever you want to call it. He's very active and moving around the pitch, and he's made a couple of things happen, including a foul leading to a free kick about 30 yards from goal, which was probably the best scoring chance that the Gunners have had so far in this one. We'll step aside again here for a moment. It's halftime at Issaquah High School. Vancouver lead at 2-0 over the Puget Sound Gunners. You're watching Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer on YouTube through the Premier Development League. Welcome back to Issaquah High School. Nathan Murphy with you here. We're at halftime, and the Vancouver Whitecaps under-23s have a 2-goal lead, 2-0 over the home-standing Puget Sound Gunners. Welcome back, everybody. We're glad to have you with us. It's a beautiful Friday evening here as the sun starts to go down over the mountains to our west. The field here, the stadium at Issaquah, set up for beautiful views out across the forested Issaquah Valley and up into the mountains. It's a wonderful setting for soccer. We encourage everybody to come on out if you are in the neighborhood. We've still got 45 good minutes here to play in this one this evening. We'll take a look at the schedule, of course. Next Friday night, also at 7 o'clock, the Gunners return here to Issaquah. They'll take on Lane United out of the Willamette Valley in Oregon. And then just a couple of days later, they'll play an away match on Monday, the 30th of June. That'll be at 7 p.m. at Redmond High School. That's just a little bit up the road here. It's actually closer to where I live than Issaquah is. And that'll be another game in the Roughneck Cup. Beat thy neighbor, the motto of that competition, of course, contested between the teams here of the Puget Sound region. That would be the Gunners and the Sounders under-23s and the Kitsap Pumas, as well as the Washington Crossfire. The Crossfire and the Gunners battled to a scoreless but entertaining draw a couple of weeks ago here at Issaquah. And you should look for the return fixture to be entertaining as well. Just up the road for those fans who are local. We're not yet certain if we're going to bring you that one. I would guess we are not, as it's technically a road game. But certainly for next week's match, that's the Friday 27th of June. Make sure and tune in with us here. Keith Neely will be back, hopefully. Nothing is amiss. Keith is very well, but work commitments have kept him away tonight. But hopefully he'll be back next Friday night. Always more fun with Mr. Neely alongside. As the officials come back out onto the pitch, we're looking for the start of the second half here. No teams yet, but we'll get underway here very shortly. Not a challenging game thus far for Chapalo Street and his crew, but they've handled it nicely to this point. We've seen some adventures in refereeing in the World Cup to this point, including some fairly big names who could have been expected to referee some matches deep into that tournament. Struggle a little bit. Mr. Carballo from Spain and Mr. Nishimura from Japan, among others, have had matches that have left people wondering if they will work again in the World Cup, much less if they will officiate into maybe the semifinals or the finals. But Mark Geiger is an interesting story. He's the first American since Brian Hall in 2002 to referee in the World Cup. Kevin Stott was sent to the tournament in 2006, but as a reserve referee only. He worked as the fourth official, but Mark Geiger, the first man with the whistle. Joe Hurd on his lines, and Brian Fletcher, his MLS crewmates, have gone with him. And the three of them, have done a very nice job on the two matches they've been given so far. You'll hear people say in high-level refereeing that one match that looks easy could be a coincidence. Two or more means that the officials are doing something of a good job, and that Mark and his crew have made both of their assignments look pretty easy. So credit to them. They've certainly done enough to earn a third game, be it in the group stage or in the round of 16, and a good performance there could have them looking into the quarterfinals or maybe even beyond. No American has ever officiated in the knockout stages of the World Cup. So a big opportunity for Mark Geiger and his crew. Other CONCACAF referees have also done very well in the competition, and it's the CONCACAF teams, of course, have done well also. Costa Rica absolutely shocking their group with victories, not just results, but victories over Italy and over, I'm trying to remember who else was in their group, over Uruguay earlier in the tournament. The Italy match today, Costa Rica absolutely gave no space to the Azzurri and left Italy looking like a second-rate side, to be honest. So credit to the Costa Ricanos for an excellent performance thus far. They are through into the knockouts. The critical second game for the United States coming up here on Sunday afternoon against the Portuguese national team. which may or may not have their star player Cristiano Ronaldo. That's still to be determined. Depending on who you believe, he is 100% and ready to go, or he has already been ruled out by the doctors, and every story in between. So we're really uncertain where that's going to lead us in the run-up to Sunday's match, but less than 48 hours from kickoff in the Arena Amazonia in Manaus for the U.S. men's national team. Meanwhile, here at Issaquah, it's 2-0, the score favoring the Vancouver Whitecaps at halftime as we prepare to begin the second half here. Both teams returning to the field now, and Chapalo Street and his crewmates having a little bit of a chat and getting ready to resume the game. And we'll take this moment to remind you that Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer is presented by Swedish of Issaquah. We thank them for their season-long support of Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer. It would not happen without them. And also Proliance Surgeons, Proliance Sports Medicine, and My Spine Sports Chiropractic. We're grateful to all of them for their financial support of this broadcast, making it possible to bring this to you around the country and around the world on YouTube. Welcome once again. Welcome once again to Issaquah High School, to those of you around the United States, to those of you, we've had viewers in Great Britain and in Spain, friends and family of members of this club. We're glad to have all of you on board as we remind you that the Premier Development League is on Facebook. Make sure and visit the official PDL fan page at facebook.com/USLPDL. Lots of good information and other good stuff for you there. And the Puget Sound Gunners are also on Facebook. That's Puget Sound Gunners FC. So lots of good stuff on social media, Facebook, Twitter, of course, YouTube, the official video platform where you found us today, and lots of other good stuff. Just about ready to begin the second half here. Chapalo Street blows the whistle, and we're back underway. I'm always amused by the almost universal tactic is to take the kickoff and play it back for possession in your own half. But, of course, the direction of the attacking team is the other way. The referees always indicate forward or sweep forward in that direction. I do the same thing myself when I step onto the field as a referee, and then the ball goes the other way. It's always a little amusing to me, but that's what it is. Taking and turning it back. The very careful back four, including Balachagua. And now in the midfield with it, this is Bryce Alderson. Now it's Reynolds Stewart. And Vancouver, as they were in the end of the first half, very content to take possession, but Puget Sound takes it away. Nicely picked off of the foot by Balachagua. And stepping up is Ramirez, who scored the second goal off of that beautiful run by O'Neill. Now it is O'Neill on the ball. Watched there by Dirksen. Gets a nice cross off, and Ramirez tries to run it down, but he can't keep it in the field of play. And instead, it will be a goal kick. The sun only a little bit above the hill now. It's in everybody's eyes on this side of the field. Hopefully you can still see. I'm not sure if I can for the next few minutes, but it will go down behind the mountain before too long. We're just underway here in the second half. 2-0 the score. Vancouver leading over the Puget Sound Gunners, who are still looking for that elusive first win at home. They do have a win on the road, and an impressive one, a 3-2 victory over the Seattle Sounders under-23s in Sumner. But only a draw to their credit here at Issaquah, and a second draw in the first home match, which was played down the road at Mount Si. So 5 points for the Gunners. They stand in 8th place. Not all that far to step up to the next spot. Lane United only have 7 points. The Portland Timbers have 9. If you could come back and find a win here, they'd slot in, but that's becoming increasingly less likely as another Vancouver goal. This one comes off the foot of Nail Cousins, and it's 3-0 Vancouver just underway here in the second half. Cousins took the ball off of a nice long feed out of the midfield and turned with it. and was able to step around the challenge of Kevin Cook and slide it into the far post. And so in the 48th minute of the match, Vancouver makes its lead 3-0. That's the scoreline by which they won last Sunday in Vancouver. Having a little conversation with referee Chapalo Street is Quentin Beasley. I'm not sure what he's asking about. Nothing looked to me as though it were offside. And now Jimmy Ball is very upset as well and has to be shepherded by the fourth official back into his technical area. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what Ball's upset about. I may have missed something as I took a moment to try and grab the standings, but I didn't see whatever it is that has left the Gunners feeling like that should not have been a goal. Dirksen in his bright red kicks takes the ball and sends it looking for Hammond in the midfield, just a step beyond his reach. And instead they'll send it back to the goalkeeper where it will be controlled and now sent back forward again. O'Neill turns and takes it. He's got a man running, Cousins. He's onside, headed cleanly away by Urzua. And is this going to be a booking? It is. Niall Cousins goes into the book. The first caution of the game given by Chapalo Street, that for the challenge on Urzua, as Urzua tried to play it away. And that comes in the 49th minute of the match, a caution for that challenge given to Niall Cousins. So the free kick just outside the 18. The Gunners trail this one 3-0. Goals in the 24th, 35th, and 48th minute, by three different goal scorers, Cousins, Ramirez, and Cook, in reverse order as they were scored. And now stepping ahead, no foul there, says the referee. A clean win by Kevin Cook, and he'll step ahead, trying to get it for Beasley. Instead, it comes back for Cook, who tries to head it for Beasley again. Cook challenges. Nothing to lose here, have the Gunners. They're certainly happy to send men forward and try and play for some goals here. That's really the only thing you can do when you're being frustrated in the midfield and in the offensive third, as the Gunners have been all evening. Vancouver have done a very nice job of denying space and denying passing opportunities, as trying to step through as Beasley, but he's not given any space, and O'Neill sends it far out to the right. We've got a substitute on the pitch for Vancouver. This is Adam Jones. Only 3 men listed in the substitutes for Vancouver, so they only have 2 more options on the bench. Those are Reagan Hall and Sean Einerson. A full bench for Puget Sound at home, as you would expect. Shane Hayworth is the reserve goalkeeper. Luke Bronze and Vincent McCluskey in defense. Reese Williams, Esteban Ochoa, and Max Smith in the midfield. And Quentin Beasley has already come on, replacing Justin Amundsen. Vancouver in possession again. But Urzua will head it calmly back to his goalkeeper. The Vancouver Whitecaps sitting 4th in the standings behind Seattle, Victoria, and Kitsap coming into play today, but they're only 2 points behind Victoria for second place. Kitsap has a 5-point advantage over the second place Highlanders. 19 points compared with 14, but they have played 1 extra game. So Vancouver has a chance to jump up into second place with a victory here. But they will have played 10 games and will be giving away 2 to Victoria and Seattle as a whistle comes here. And offside, says assistant referee Ray Moffat. So Vancouver very much playing for that playoff spot here. As at this point in the year, as we've passed the halfway mark, the Puget Sound Gunners very much playing to get a win here at home, playing to step out of the cellar in the Northwest Division. And the things in the PDL, how you finish the year matters. And the Seawolves last year got off to an even slower start than these Gunners have, and finished the year on a much better foot. And the players left feeling that the experience was a lot better for it, and you hope that that's what the Gunners will have a chance here to do. A very frustrating stretch, just a draw out of the last 7 matches. out of the last 6, rather. As another attack is smothered by Vancouver's defense, you have to give them credit. They've done really excellent work back there in not allowing Puget Sound to either maintain possession and try and dribble forward or to have passing lanes. There's just no space for them to work, and they deserve a great deal of credit for what the scoreline looks like right now. Of course, the attacking players have done their job as well. Goals by Cook and Ramirez and Cousins have all contributed. And this is Ramirez, the Honduran, former professional, but he's offside. And Keegan Rogers will come and send this one away. We're in the 55th minute here, or will be momentarily, at Issaquah High School. Vancouver Whitecaps lead this one by a score of 3-0. 2 first-half goals and one just a couple of minutes into the second half have left the result of this one little in doubt, but Puget Sound has shown a little bit of fight in the last few minutes. They're certainly willing to throw people forward and try and do something offensively. And that's exactly what you need to do. You've got to leave a game like this with something positive and take it into next week when Lane United comes up to play here at Issaquah High School. We'll have that match for you, 7 p.m. on Friday the 27th. That's 1 week from tonight. 7 p.m. United States Pacific time. I think that's 8 hours behind GMT, but don't quote me on that. Much wiser to look it up yourself. Ramirez makes the run on the left side. Watch there by Cook. Another run being made by Balagua. The cross, does it take a deflection? Nope, it's just a big, tall cross. And Ramirez unhappy with himself there as that one went high and well out of the reach of anybody. And it'll be a goal kick. We'll use the opportunity to remind everybody that scores, stats, news, and more can be found exclusively at uslpdl.com. That's the official website of the Premier Development League. Statistics up there, schedules, results, even links to video when they remember to put them up. It's an excellent source for all of your PDL needs. Make sure and check it out, uslpdl.com. 70 teams in the Premier Development League this year. It's a massive undertaking by USL, headquartered down in Florida. Give them a lot of credit. It's a great league. And the success stories. We were talking about Asha Paulon at halftime, signing a professional contract in Thailand. When you talk about a guy like DeAndre Yedlin, who only 2 years ago was playing in this league, in this very division for Seattle Sounders under-23s, the man's in the World Cup. He hasn't made an appearance, and you'd think, barring injury, that he's unlikely to make an appearance. But to get a World Cup assignment, to be on the 23-man roster in Brazil, is an incredible accomplishment for that young man and a real testament to this league and this level of play. So congratulations to DeAndre and to the PDL staff as well. A shot here and another goal. As a bouncing ball into the penalty area is taken by Cody Cook, and he bounces it home past goalkeeper Keegan Rogers. That's Cook's second goal of the game, and the score is now 4-0 in favor of the visitors from the north. Kevin Cook for the Gunners seems very frustrated right now, as does the entire back line. But Cook in particular felt like he should have gotten there or was frustrated that someone else missed an assignment. It's difficult for us to tell, but very frustrated with the situation right now as Vancouver shows no signs of letting up. 3 men chasing the ball into the attacking third as Kevin Cook tries to do something with it, and eventually now he's shielding the ball against Ramirez. Very physical confrontation here, and Ramirez commits the foul, says Chapalo Street. Ramirez does not like that call, but moving on. The free kick stolen quickly away, but taken right back by Evangelista. He's got a man running, but it's going to be a little bit behind him. And unable to catch up with it is Beasley. Throw in for the Gunners. And offside on the far side of the pitch is Brady Ballou. Not a lot of breaks going the Gunners' way right now as Ballou needs to be careful, does not want to go into the book for an unwise delay tactic here. He thought he was kept on by the man on the far side of the field, the near side to us. That would be Jordan Farani. Nothing doing, says the assistant referee, and play on, says Chipalo Street. Give Ballou a lot of credit. He's still out there chasing hard, which is exactly what you want him to do. Dirksen over there doing the same thing. A chance here as chasing it into the penalty area was Beasley. That's good defensive work there by the man we were just talking about, Jordan Farani. He didn't do anything illegal. He just kept moving in the direction he was moving, but to not allow the man to go around and get through, that's a subtle play, but it's a good defensive play by the center back. Nothing doing there, says the referee, and Beasley frustrated also. A lot of frustration for the Gunners in a situation where they've played hard. You can see the effort that they've put in, and they find themselves behind by a score of 4-0. As clattering through there was Michael Dodds. Looks like he'll get a little bit of a talking to from the referee. Appears no harm was done there, as back on his feet is Bryce Alderson, so all appears to be well. No caution given, no injury sustained, and we play on. 60th minute of the match here in Issaquah. Vancouver 4, Puget Sound nothing. A tough outing for the Gunners. Vancouver still into the attack, slipping it through for Cousins. He's already on a goal. Flips it up and over the top. That was hopeful. And it goes out for a goal kick. Fans, make sure and visit the USL Pro fan page and the PDL fan page on Facebook. Those are at facebook.com/USL Pro and facebook.com/USL PDL. Of course, the rumors are flying that the Seattle Sounders will start a USL Pro franchise in this area. Nothing's been confirmed about that, but they've gone so far as to quietly discuss where that franchise might be placed. And some of that's been talked about in Sounders media, blogs, and what have you. Options including right here in the Puget Sound, Everett, Bellingham, maybe Tacoma. Also considered a little bit further out, maybe Spokane or Yakima, Ellensburg, Wenatchee, or maybe even Boise, Idaho. So nothing confirmed, as we say, but an interesting potential development for professional soccer here in the Puget Sound. So the Sounders would presumably drop their reserves team and use the USL Pro franchise as a farm club to get guys some playing time. You look at the example of Ochoa, who was sent down to Florida last year and didn't get a whole lot of playing time because they knew that he would be called back to the Sounders at some point. So those loan arrangements don't always work out as well as the parent club hopes. So a little bit different. Instead of playing other reserve teams, they would be playing professional teams in the USL Pro. It's an interesting possibility, and we'll see if it comes to pass. Ballou and Ramirez challenging hard for the ball along the near touchline, and it ends up in Vancouver's possession once again, and they'll turn it forward. Out onto the right for O'Neill. I'm sorry, that's the substitute Jones, Adam Jones. O'Neill's dropped a little bit further back. And hang on, says the referee, we've got a substitution, and it looks like leaving for the afternoon will be Josemar Evangelista, and he'll be replaced by number 7, Max Smith, the midfielder. So Max will get his chance to make an impact here tonight. We have about half an hour remaining. Hold the ball over on the touchline, the referee says. Ball boy's kicking it around a little bit. Referee doesn't want a situation where the ball bounces onto the field and breaks something up. And now clearing this one out of play is Vincent McCloskey, who has also come into the match. He's playing at, or is that Urzua? Nope, that is 18. That's McCloskey. I believe he replaced Urzua. Must have been at halftime, so I apologize for not getting his name sooner. They are built similarly, and I admit I missed the number. So McCloskey playing the center back position now is trying to step around with it. Nicely cut out there by Dodds. Good defensive effort from the midfielder, and he'll send it away. Listed as a defender on the sheet today. I really haven't seen Michael Dodds lining up in the back four, and he's not part of it now. It looks like across the back are Cook, McCloskey. I believe that's Joshua Miller, and I'm not sure who the left back is. I think it may be Luke Braz also in the match. Tipped up into the air now and handled by Keegan Rogers. Making the run is Max Smith, his first touch. Finds Dodds. He's got a streaking man on the left. This is Braz, Luke Braz. Tries to step around, well defended by Cook, but it's a Gunners throw-in. And a nice run from the defender who just came into the match not terribly long ago. He works well up the side there, and he earns the throw-in. Tossed back for Dodds. Cousins pressuring there. Levis pressuring there. Vancouver showing no signs of letting up with a 4-goal lead here and about 26 minutes to play. Dodds gets knocked down, a fair challenge. And onto the left side, Ramirez turns with it. Levis was there. They'll drop it back once again. This is Balachagua. Now it's Cook again. He has a goal tonight. He has 2 goals tonight. Sitting on a hat trick if he can get there. Instead, it will be Justice Dirksen. Justice drops it for Smith. And Miller. Now back for Dodds again. Dodds steps nicely around Cook. And he's got a man running. Instead, he'll hand it for the new arrival, Beasley. Beasley can't hang on to it. He's frustrated as well. You can't blame particularly the top guys. The forwards have really had a frustrating evening as Vancouver's defense has been absolutely airtight. And now a giveaway by Cook as his header didn't go where he intended it to go. Mataronimo chipping in against Cousins and wins the ball eventually. And Dirksen will turn and break. He's got Ballou running. He's got Beasley running. Beasley flicks it for Ballou, who's managed to stay on side. Ballou steps around nicely. He's got a lane, a shot. And that's a ball that was a little bit too far from goal to be a shot and a little bit too close to it to be a cross. And instead, it's a goal kick. And we have another substitution now. It looks like leaving the field for Puget Sound will be Kevin Cook. His night will end. He's had a frustrating one, especially in the last 10 minutes or so. And coming in will be Reese Williams, who's made a couple of appearances this year. Hasn't registered anything statistically except a shot on goal. But he'll come in at the right back slot. 66th minute of play, 67th now here at Issaquah High School, approaching 20 minutes remaining in the match. Alderson switches the field once again. Vancouver, as we said, have been liberal in their use of the field switching long ball, and it's worked very well for them as they've found some space that's led to some attacks, including the second goal in particular, which started with a switch and was worked by a long run by Colton O'Neill up from right back. Ferrani plays this one, and O'Neill is up there. He's stepped up from the right back and into the midfield now. Drops it back to the new right back. This is Adam Jones. Back once again and looking up high for Cook. Nice interplay with O'Neill. And coming up to win it is Jones. So those three working very well together, but eventually the Gunners take it away and will try and turn upfield. I like the idea from Beasley, but the execution didn't quite work there as he tried to flick it on. And after some contested possession, it's taken once again by Vancouver. 4-0. The Vancouver Whitecap under-23s have the lead here at Issaquah. 2 goals in each half, and a thoroughly dominating performance, especially on defense from the visitors from Vancouver. A win here, as we said, will move them into second place in the division as Ramirez makes a run through now. Stepping back to cut it off, and Rogers is well off his line and punches Cousins' shot. Parries it away and over the goal line for a goal kick, and we'll have a Vancouver substitution now, as leaving the game will be Mehdi Balachagua. And the fourth official didn't keep his boards up in the air long enough for me to tell you who's coming on, but I believe that this is Sean Einerson. It's a little easier when there are only 3 substitutes on the list for the Whitecaps. They only brought 14 men with them on this road trip. Presumably they'll play another one, as these trips are usually set up to have at least 2 and maybe 3 games. But that shot by the newly arrived man goes up and over the top. That would have been a very difficult one. Would have been Tim Cahill-esque, the Australian international, and probably his final World Cup appearance after being suspended for yellow card accumulation. He scored an absolute golazo in their 3-2 loss to the Dutch earlier this week, rather. Getting on top of a ball right about where that one was, near the corner of the 18, and volleying it spectacularly off the underside of the bar and in. Tim Cahill, the goal of the tournament to this point in my book. I've been argued with about that on Facebook. People think that Robin Van Persie's header was better. It's an excellent goal to be sure, but I'll stick with the volley every time. It's one of the more difficult things to do on a soccer field. Nice little spin there by Alderson. A flick forward from Jones. And some contested possession there as fighting for the ball was Cook, but instead it'll be a free kick for the Gunners. Baloo making a run, but it can't get over the top of the defender, Jordan Farani, And Vancouver will break again. Ramirez is making a run. He's already on a goal. Ramirez has a chance, the Honduran, at the edge of the 18. Sends it back into the middle. Played by Cook, but he can't get it through, and turning to break with it now is the newly arrived Luke Braz. Gets it for Dirksen. Sends it back into the middle for Dodds, and they'll drop it once again. Now on the near side, it's Rhys Williams. One of the better spells for the Gunners here in the second half. Williams. Nobody there, unfortunately. He thought a run was coming. And it's an easy play for the Vancouver goalkeeper, Nolan Worth. Long ball sent over. And a collision over there. No whistle, and we play on. Williams chests it down. Nice control from him. Tries to step to the outside, watched by Cook. And it's taken away by Jones. Cousins with a nice touch. This ball goes over the top, headed back. That's a nice play from McCluskey. Vincent McCluskey lets his goalkeeper Rogers get his hands on it, and Rogers will send it forward again. This one will go all the way to Nolan Worth. Chance for a giveaway. Dodds can't quite get there. And Vancouver once again, this is Ramirez. The man running is Cook. He's already on 2. And sent away by Keegan Rogers. That's a nice play near the edge of your 18. You don't know where the line is. That's a little bit of a hook slide there. Play it away. Credit Keegan Rogers for getting rid of that threat and for not getting himself sent off in the process. A throw-in earned there nicely by Rhys Williams. Looking for somewhere to go. Over the top looking for Dodds. Instead, it's cut out without too much difficulty by Farahani. This is Farahani. His pass is stolen away by Eronimo. And trying to step through, Dirksen lost his footing. He wanted a foul. He doesn't get one, and now Dirksen commits a foul. And it will be a Vancouver free kick. We're in the 84th minute at Issaquah. 4-0 the scoreline. Vancouver thoroughly winning this one as this shot by Cousins is parried down. Nice job covering his post by Keegan Rogers. And now a little bit of a miscommunication, and McCluskey steps up and takes the ball away, but not all the way. Back for Cousins. Steps around, has a chance to shoot. Blocked down again. Keegan Rogers playing very well here. Despite the scoreline, Keegan's done well, especially here in the last 15 or so minutes. He's had a couple of very nice plays, the best of which that sliding play at the edge of his own penalty area to clear the ball away from the feet of Ramirez without risking a foul and maybe even a red card for handling. That one is headed safely outside for a corner by Williams. He did not know there was nobody behind him. Of course, there wasn't anybody behind him, but that's still the smart play to make. Don't let someone lurking behind you make a play, and it'll be a Vancouver corner. Ramirez in no hurry. One of the ball kids jogs over, and Ramirez says he wants the other one, so we'll play with that one. 85th minute almost here at Issaquah. Vancouver lead this one 4-0. Cook has two, the first and the last for the Whitecaps. Ramirez corner is low and is headed away well by Dodds, and a chance to break. Dodds gets it back. He's got a man through. He might have been on. It's hard to know. That was Dirksen. I stand corrected. That is Quentin Beasley. And now another run by Beasley, and just a little bit too far. That's a nice idea to send a run through. Beasley made a run. Ballou made a run. These guys are still pushing hard out there. You got to give the Gunners a lot of credit. They haven't gone into a shell. They haven't folded up shop. And it's a difficult thing to lose like this, but they're playing very well despite it. And you give them credit for it. Stepping through with it now is Levis. Thought he had a man there, but instead it rolls easily for Keegan Rogers. 75th minute. I said 84th earlier. I meant 74th. We've got about 15 minutes remaining here at Issaquah. Touched back now. Worth will handle it there. Reynolds Stewart content to take his time and play it back to Worth once again. A little bit dangerous. Nice job by Ballou. Going down and threatening, but he can't quite get there. McCluskey, physical challenge there, pushing a little bit with Cousins. And now Rogers has to clear it away from Cousins. We said the Whitecaps weren't going to let up, and they haven't. They're pushing just as hard as they were in the 15th or 20th minute before they'd taken the lead. And they've played some very impressive football here today. Faharani. Long shot. Struggling to handle that. Is this a penalty? Yes, it is, says Chapalo Street. Barreling into Niall Cousins from behind was the defender, Joshua Miller, and this will be a penalty and a chance for a fifth for Vancouver. In the 76th minute, that was a rebound. The shot took kind of a funny little skip, and Keegan Rogers wasn't able to handle it completely. And the rebound fell right to Cousins, and no choice there but to try and get through the man to the ball for Joshua Miller. The man goes down. A pretty easy penalty call for Chapalo Street, and it will be taken by Cousins, the man who would have scored. He's already on a goal. This would be his second here in minute number 77. Penalty taken, comfortably put away, and it skips up into the netting over the goalpost where it sticks. And Vancouver have increased their lead. It's now 5-0 in favor of the Canadians. So Cousins the goal. It's a penalty in minute number 87. 77, I keep doing that. 77th minute. Cousins on the penalty, no assist given. It was a nice through ball, and it was a nice shot that was taken a little bit earlier by Levis that was parried down and fell to the feet of Cousins, leading to that penalty call. As we said, a pretty easy one for Chapalo Street to make. You just can't go through a man in the box like that and not expect the whistle and the point to the spot. Frustrating afternoon for the Gunners' defense. Keegan Rogers, I'll say it again, he's played well despite everything, but Cousins looking for his hat trick. And instead an offside call. That ball was played by Cook, and Cousins was in an offside position due to the forward positioning of the goalkeeper, Keegan Rogers. It appears as though Rogers made the save anyway. But Vancouver gathers it once again in the defense. This whistle goes against. And is it going to be a caution? It is, as booked is Luke Braz, the substitute. This is the 79th minute. Caution for that foul in the midfield, and still down is the man, I think that's Ramirez, who was trying to turn and break. And Braz kind of went through him from behind a little bit, so he's cautioned for that. But it looks like Ramirez is going to get up and at least move under his own power. Vancouver do have one more substitute, but he is a goalkeeper, Reagan Hall. And so presumably they're not going to make that decision. It looks like Ramirez is going to stay in the game. Cut all the way back toward the goalkeeper, Nolan Worth. Touched to him there by O'Neill. That touch is taken away by Dirksen. Dirksen steps through, has Ballou turning and shooting. Just missing the post on the near side. That's a nice play from Brady Ballou. It's difficult to turn and find the frame when you don't have a chance to square it up, and Brady Ballou did not miss by much. It's difficult to say if Nolan Worth had his post covered there without the benefit of a camera angle that we haven't got. But that's a nice interplay between Dirksen and Ballou, and a nice turning shot from Brady Ballou. Just misses the post. Probably the best chance of the half for the Gunners. And now Dirksen looks like he may be cramping up a little bit, and Vancouver will sportingly play it into touch so that Justice Dirksen can be looked at by referee Chapalo Street. We're in the 80th minute here in Issaquah. Just guessing from the movements, I think Justice is just cramping. Hopefully he'll be all right. And he leaves the pitch at least momentarily. We'll see if he will return or not. Not a whole lot. Esteban Ochoa is still on the bench, and I think he's the only one besides the reserve goalkeeper Shane Hayworth for the Gunners. Puget Sound will take the throw in presumably and play it sportingly back. They do indeed. Always a nice aspect of soccer when it's done correctly. Over on the left now. Reynolds Stewart has a man running up high. This is Cook. He's been all over the place and has 2 goals tonight, as does Niall Cousins. Geronimo tries to take it away. Instead it goes back, and the referee will give the foul. Was waiting to see if the advantage would play. Instead, Brett Levis will get the call against Matt Geronimo, who was tugging his arm, tugging on his shirt a little bit, and not a difficult foul call to make, I think. 82nd minute of play here at Issaquah High School. 5-0 the scoreline. Vancouver dominating on every part of the pitch today, and will have thoroughly earned their 3 points when the final whistle goes about 10 minutes from now. Carefully O'Neill and now Jones. Vancouver just content to keep possession and work forward where space allows. And it's cut out by Miller, and it'll be a throw in here. Don't forget, we've got another match coming up a week from today, as we are going to have that substitution now. Entering the match, I believe, is Esteban Ochoa. He'll replace, hopefully, the not too badly injured Justice Dirksen. We very much hope he'll be back and with us next week. As we were saying, we're back on the air. 7 o'clock is the first kick. We'll be on the air 10 minutes prior. From Issaquah High School, the opponent next week, Lane United from the Willamette Valley in Oregon, south of Portland. They defeated Puget Sound 4-1 in Oregon about a month ago. And now a chance for the return visit. Another chance for the Gunners to get their first result here at Issaquah and their first home win of the year. Vancouver play this one back. The sun is well and truly set now, and the cool air is starting to set in. The temperature has dipped down into the mid-50s here. Still a beautiful evening out here and gorgeous views of the mountains across the way. If you haven't yet experienced this, it's a great setting for this wonderful level of soccer. These guys are talented and they work hard, and it's a lot of fun to watch in this beautiful setting. Come out and join us next week. You can get your tickets at PugetSoundGunnersFC.com or at the gate. We'd love to see you with us. Pretty good crowd here tonight. 50 or 60 people here. Long ball looking for Levis rather. And now turning around looking for Beasley. That's nice defensive work getting back by Farahani. And it'll be a throw-in. Cook has already left. Kevin Cook, he of the 2 throw-in assists against Seattle. And trying it will be Reese. It gets into the area, but it's handled off the head. And out of play, it's going to be a corner. As not quite able to handle that and keep it from going over the goal line was goalkeeper Nolan Worth. And so the first corner of the match for Puget Sound Gunners, and I believe the first of the match for either team. I take that back. There was one earlier on for Vancouver. Corner taken toward the back, and now Cook has a chance to run. He's already on 2, looking for the hat trick. Gives the ball on to the left for Levis. Overlapping run coming. Nice defensive work getting back and getting it out of the way by Vincent McCluskey, as making the nice overlapping run was Bryce Alderson. Instead, it's just a throw-in. Stewart will come up and take it. Gets it back now. Has Cook behind. Instead, he'll step into the top of the 18. Ramirez turns and scuffs the shot. And Puget Sound will look to break a little bit here. Ballou's the man. He'll hold it up, has an overlap. Gives it to him. That's nice for Ochoa. Esteban Ochoa into the penalty area. Has a little space. Ochoa deflected off the goalkeeper. Nice job coming out by Nolan Worth. The last touch from Ochoa just took him a little bit too far, but a great opportunity and a very nice overlapping run from the substitute. 85 minutes gone by now. Puget Sound showing a little bit of pressure. Chipped ball over the top for Ochoa, and it skips off a defender's head and will go out for the second corner in as many minutes for the Gunners. Nice little sequence here for Puget Sound. You'd sure love to see them get one in the last 5 minutes and leave with something a little more positive. Corner taken. Right toward the spot. And coming through to head that one, but unable to get on top of it was Vincent McCluskey. He took a little bit of an elbow as he was going through from Cousins. I'm not sure that's enough for a penalty. I think the no call was the right one, but a little bit frustrated is McCluskey. There he gets manhandled by Cousins again, and Vancouver press ahead. Long ball looking for Cousins. The big man gets a touch, but he can't bring it down. It'll be handled by Keegan Rogers. 86 minutes gone now, just 4 left in the 90. Not a lot of stoppage time. We've had a couple men go down injured. I'd guess 2, maybe 3 minutes. The wonderful sign kit that the fourth official, Philippe Dor, has been wonderful for us tonight. We've been able to see substitutions and stoppage time information much more quickly. Now running ahead with it. Chipping it for Ramirez on the far post. He can't turn and shoot. Coming out to get it is Rogers. It slips back to the area. A shot is blocked. That's great defensive work as the shot was taken by the substitute, Ernestson. Now another nice save. Good defensive work by the Gunners here. 2 great saves and now a foul and a chance for the Gunners to clear their lines. The shot was taken by Einarsson and was blocked in a beautiful way by the recently arrived defender, Reese Williams. I take that back. That's Vincent McCluskey who got the block. A lot of credit to him for preventing that one from going through. And then a great save first before that and another great save after by Keegan Rogers. Great showing from him in the second half. Despite the scoreline, he's played very well and made some saves. This easily could have been 6, 7, or even 8 if not for the great play of the Puget Sound goalkeeper. Throw-in taken by Ballou. Vancouver looks to turn the other way. We're in the 88th minute here. Not much left in regulation. Taken away. Gives it to Ballou. He can't turn. He's watched there and almost has it taken away, but manages to hang on to it. Firm pressure from Alderson. And Puget Sound will go around the back and look for another way. Now looking for Dodds on the far side of the penalty area. He's got it. Tries to step around Jones. Cleared away nicely, but a chance to shoot. Ballou takes a deflection. The header would not have counted anyway, as offside was the man Quentin Beasley. But another nice piece of attacking play. Good piece of creative play there. And even though it's not going to change the result, you really like to see this positive play from the Puget Sound Gunners in the last 10 minutes of the match. This is exactly what they need to take and turn around in the match against Lane next week. We will be here for that match 1 week from tonight, 7 o'clock on Friday night the 27th, right here at Issaquah High School. I'll be along with Keith Neely. Will hopefully be back, his work allowing. And we'll be glad to join those of you who can't be here in person. If you can be, come on out to the park. It's a great setting for soccer, and a handling call there. A little bit frustrated with himself is Olison, as he wanted to turn and go with that one, but he did have his hand extended, arm in the unnatural position, as they say, and the whistle goes. We're just about a minute and a half from the end of the 90 here at Issaquah High School. Ballou shields through the midfield. And a nice sliding play by Dodds, and a chance to move ahead again. Puget Sound pushing men forward. Nobody in their own half except Keegan Rogers. Braz the throw-in. Nicely turned. This is Aronimo. Gets a cross in, but it's a little behind. Now Ochoa has a chance. He'll drop it back. The long look from Rees. Headed down. Aronimo over the top. That's a great idea, but it's a difficult play when you put your shoulders back and take it off the chest, and then you have to get your shoulders forward in time to keep the ball down. That's a challenging play, but another nice piece of positive forward creative play. It's an encouraging sign for next week. Fans will take the chance to remind everybody that Nike Soccer is an official supporter of the W League, USL Pro, and the PDL. We thank them for their support. Make sure and check out at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. As we have just about had the 90 minutes here, another 5 seconds, and we'll find out how much extra we're expecting. Fourth official holds up a number 3. 3 minutes of added time for the injuries. And the goals. A cross is sent in, nicely defended away by Joshua Miller. And Reese sends it clear. McCluskey. Now stepping in is Smith. Vancouver will gather. This is Jones. 3 minutes of extra time. Separate Vancouver from second place. They will take second place over with this victory, but they will have not one but 2 more games played than 2 of their opponents in the vicinity. So I don't know that you would say they control their destiny at this point. Stepping forward is Stewart. Gives it up. Ramirez on the right. Fakes the cross, now drops it back for Cook. Nice interplay. Now it goes back again for Einenson. Einenson. Farahani, rather. Advantage played by the referee. Did not develop, but had gone too far for him to bring it back. And the Gunners end up with it anyway. Matthew Aronimo in the waning moments. Out of play, throw into the Gunners. Aronimo and Ramirez having words over on the far touchline. Taken away by Cousins. Nice defensive play by Brady Ballou to prevent an odd man rush. Ballou chips it ahead. He's looking for Braz. Braz comes back to work against Ramirez and wins the ball. And now they touch it through for Beasley. Switching the field for Smith. Not much time left. They got to go forward. The Gunners have had some chances in the last 10 minutes. They've played good, positive, attacking soccer in a way we haven't seen since the first 15 of this match. Keegan Rogers now. Send it forward. Away from the run. Nice job by Braz to challenge and try and get there, but it'll come all the way back. And it'll be McCluskey who will get there and play it off of Cousins and earn a deep throw in. We're into the final minute of the 3 that referee Chapalo Street has added. Very little time left in this one. The Gunners looking to make what they can of it. Nice job by Geronimo. Can't keep control. Now it's Cook. Steps ahead for Cousins. He's onside into the area. Cousins a shot. And just 2 feet or 3 away from a hat trick as that went just outside the far post. And you would guess that this goal kick will be one of the last actions of the match. And it will indeed. The final whistle has gone. We've played the full time here at Issaquah High School. The final score, Vancouver Whitecaps 5, Puget Sound Gunners nothing. We'll be back to wrap this one up in just a moment. You're watching Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer on YouTube with the Premier Development League. Welcome back to Issaquah High School, where the final score here, Puget Sound Gunners lose this one in a bit of a landslide. 5 goals given up to the Vancouver Whitecaps. We'll take a look at the events for you here. Not much happened in the first 25 minutes of the match. A little bit of a sleepy start by both sides. They were content to sit back. The best chances early came by Vancouver. Ball was cleared off the line nicely by Matthew Geronimo. Another one hit the bar, the crossbar. Vancouver finally broke through in the 24th minute. Cook with the goal, his first of the match. And then just a few minutes later, in the 35th, Ramirez, an assist from O'Neill to make it 2-0. Just after halftime, Cousins with his first of the game, Nail Cousins. And then only a minute later, he went into the book. The first caution shown in the match, only one to each team. The other came in the 79th to Luke Braz. The remaining goals belonged to Cousins. In the 77th minute, this was a penalty. And then Ramirez to make it 5-0. That'll wrap it up for us. Not a whole lot more to say. A lot of thanks go to our sponsors once again. Our presenting sponsor, Swedish of Issaquah. Thank you very, very much to them for their year-long support to bring you these broadcasts on YouTube. Also sponsored by Proliant Surgeons and Proliant Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, and by My Spine Sports Chiropractic. For Teresa Whipple, our executive producer, for Keith Neely, who could not be here tonight, for Todd Elvig, our producer engineer, and for young Mr. Elvig, the cameraman, we appreciate his good work tonight. I'm Nathan Murphy saying so long from Issaquah High School. Once again, the final score, Vancouver Whitecaps under 23s 5, the Puget Sound Gunners nothing. We'll see you next week from Issaquah.